Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. I figured after the last episode, I should tone back the screaming into the microphone.
I don't know. I think that was
because I'm
cool.
pretty sure there was a lot of new listeners that were like, "Oh boy, here we go,"
Hey,
and they just completely turned off
This
their
is
freaking
this
podcast.
is a cool podcast. Fantasy Champions. Let me click it.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, that's how you get people to not follow you if you're starting a podcast. It is Wednesday, October 9th. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon right across from me, as always. Today we are going to discuss Week 5 booms and busts, as well as trade targets. We're going to break down some weekly matchups. Before we get into, we're going to just slide right into it. No news, no nothing. We're just going to slide right into it.
Let's just do it, dude.
Check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. Content. I think I personally, like today, released a trade value chart for Week 5. It's my fifth one of the year. It is tiresome.
It is.
I'll tell you right now.
Very useful.
Very useful. Be sure to check that out. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the FF Champs on Twitter, at the Fantasy Champions on Twitter. Go to facebook.com/the Fantasy Champions. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe wherever you listen. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, all that good stuff. Make sure you leave a review. Please leave a review. That's much appreciated. Some people leave a review. I very much appreciate that. Don't use me and then not give a review.
Wow.
He's like, wow, that's aggressive. Let's go into our booms and busts for Week 5. This is a wacky week. It's going to take a while. I'll start off with Will Fuller.
Okay.
Will Fuller is never going to do this again.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna start off with the pleasantries of saying congratulations, you scored 46 fantasy points and half PPR.
Congratulations, you scored.
Yeah, whatever. He's never gonna do it again. No. Coming into this week, he had 6 fantasy points. I mean, 6 targets, 7 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets, and then like 400 targets for touchdowns.
He had like
how many targets did he have in that game?
It was 17. I'll go double check.
Oh my goodness gracious!
He had. If it loads, Will Fuller. It's not loading, bro. This is embarrassing. Okay, he had 16 targets.
The pressure's on when the recording's happening.
I know, right?
You're like,
then your phone just breaks.
Yeah.
Your laptop doesn't work.
Wow.
Anyway, he had 16 targets. He had 14 catches.
Right.
So there's only 2 times where he didn't catch the ball for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's unreal. He almost had 4, right? I think he almost punched it in for 4 touchdowns.
He did almost have 4, yes.
That's ridiculous.
I think there was a play where
that's freaking ridiculous.
Watson threw it to him in the end zone, but he didn't catch it.
Yeah, something like that.
We just going through wide receivers. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's just go through wide. We'll start with wide receivers because I freaking started with wide receivers.
You wanted Will Fuller.
I wanted Will Fuller. Yeah, I just wanted to note on the Will Fuller front.
Okay.
People are worried about Nook. They're worried about their DeAndre Hopkins shares. We'll talk about Hopkins a little bit later, but with Will Fuller and Kenny Stills now in that offense, should we be concerned that DeAndre Hopkins is not going to get his target share that he has gotten over the last couple of years? Because he's been one of the most targeted wide receivers in fantasy football. So far this year, he has not been. I'm going to pull up the pacing metrics while you give your thought on that.
I don't want to talk too much about it because we're going to talk about it later. But
yeah,
I don't think he's going to, in the sense of, he was the 5th overall pick, 6th overall pick in a lot of leagues. He was mid-first round.
Right.
He's expected to be the number 1 receiver in fantasy. I don't know if he's going to be that, but I still think he's DeAndre Hopkins. They're going to throw the ball a lot this season. Deshaun Watson, you're making a weird face.
No, that's all right.
Okay. I still think they're going to throw the ball a lot this year.
Let's make an attempt at the Donald Trump face.
If Will Fuller stays healthy and plays,
he
like you just said, he's not going to do this again this year or his whole career ever. So if Will Fuller is just healthy and defenses realize, we have to guard Will Fuller too,
right? I
think that can only open stuff up for Hopkins.
Yeah, right now he's on pace for 141 targets,
which is still
it's fantastic, but it's not top 5. So we'll talk a little bit later why you should not be concerned about DeAndre Hopkins, but I think it might be a smidge concerning.
It's a smidge. That's why I said I don't think he's going to be number one, like people anticipated, or even number
God
2.
God forbid he's not number 1.
Yeah, right. I can't believe I drafted the number 1 receiver and he finished 3rd.
Yeah. Michael Thomas has been very good.
It's been fantastic.
This is his first big game.
He's been consistent all year, though.
Yeah, he's had like 14, 13, freaking 35 fantasy points. He's been absolutely bonkers in this game, and New Orleans doesn't look like they honest to God, like, you have to give it to Drew Brees when Drew Brees comes back. You have to give it back to him. You can't keep going with Teddy Bridgewater, but they got a future. Like, if Drew Brees retires this year, Teddy Bridgewater's the guy.
Well, it's not only that. It's just the team is good.
Yeah.
They don't really need... I mean, they need Drew Brees to take it to that next level.
Yeah.
But without Drew Brees, they're still a playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
They 100%. Got a good defense. They have, an amazing...
Yeah.
Like, weapons around them, like Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. The offensive line is good. And Teddy Bridgewater is...
Right.
I mean, I've been saying it for years. I think he's a solid quarterback. So...
Right.
I mean, they'll be fine. And they are fine.
Amari Cooper had 34 fantasy points. Man, this guy...
Cooper, man.
This is what the thing that I realized with the Cowboys is that Cooper is crazy. Watching far too many Cowboys games.
You do watch too many Cowboys games.
I have no choice. I get the Zach and D.
There's always a choice, dude.
Zeke, Dak, stack. Yeah, I'm trying to change it out. All right, relax. But when Dak Prescott has been given time, and you give Amari Cooper enough time to get open, it's dangerous.
Oh yeah,
it's dangerous. There was one catch down the sidelines at the end of that Green Bay Packers game. He caught the ball, juked one corner, spun out of the way of another corner, and scored a touchdown.
He had 226 receiving yards.
Freaking crazy! It's insane.
That's ridiculous.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Amari Cooper has actually been surprisingly consistent so far this season. He hasn't been a complete trash bag.
Yeah. Against the Saints, he wasn't great, but he's still, 7 points is not a good week, but it's
19,
not like...
12, 23, 7, and 34 in half PPR.
That's 4 of the 5 weeks he's been a start.
Yeah, so this is a different Amari Cooper than we've seen, which is great. So he's definitely where the concern about drafting him was that he was going to be this boom bust guy. And so far he hasn't. I mean, he's still Amari Cooper, and he's still got it in him, though.
Oh, yeah.
Completely disappear in certain games. DJ Chark had 32 fantasy points.
DJ Chark.
We talked about him on the last show. Is this real?
To an extent. He's not.
Okay.
He's not. I think he's 5th right now.
Yep.
Among wide receivers, and he's not going to get like 30 a week.
Yeah.
But I think he could, like you said, he's a wide receiver too.
Yep. I definitely believe that.
Is he a high end or low end?
I would say by the end of the year, low end probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris Godwin. Oh, I skipped over Adam Thielen. Thielen had 28 points, more specifically because he had caught 2 touchdowns. So it was like, oh, Stefon Diggs, you're going to complain. We're going to fine you $200,000 for not showing up to practice, and then we're going to throw it to Adam Thielen the whole game.
What did you expect? If there is one guy, I've been saying this since the season started. Yeah. If there's one guy to start,
it's
in the
Adam Thielen.
Yeah, it's Thielen.
I don't even know how to say his last name properly, so there's that.
Thielen.
Godwin follows up his 32-point performance by putting up 28 points. So there's a total of 60 fantasy points from Chris Godwin in 2 weeks. He is your glorified wide receiver 1 in all of fantasy.
Baller.
Yeah. Do you expect this to continue, or?
I don't see him getting 30 a week.
As soon there's gonna come a point where he's pacing out so far ahead of everyone else that if he keeps playing like this, if he gets 25 fantasy points next week, I give up. I'm just ripping my pants off and I'm going with it. I looked at his like I said, I looked at his pacing. He's on pace to score 270 fantasy points this year, so we'll see. A-Rob, 25 fantasy points. You know what I realized on Allen Robinson? He hasn't been a complete trash can.
No.
This year. He's actually been relatively decent.
He's been okay.
13, 6, 9, 11, and 25. So I think his suckiness is more due to the fact that his quarterback blows.
Yeah. But, is that going to change, though?
No, not at Tyler Boyd finally had his big game that I've been waiting for. He's been one of the most targeted wide receivers in the NFL so far this year.
I think this was his first week with a touchdown, though.
He is on pace for 160 targets, I believe.
Wow.
So if he is targeted that much rest of season, and if they trade A.J. Green, that benefits a lot too. Tyler Boyd will eventually get to that point where he starts catching touchdowns, and I think he'll be good. The concern is that they can't get in the red zone.
Which is extremely valid, right? Because they can't.
Tyler Boyd is a slot receiver, so it's not like he's breaking off massive plays.
Right.
So, I mean, he might, but I like Tyler Boyd a lot, so I think he's going to be a wide receiver too. Cooper Kupp, we talked about on our last show. I tell you barely, this is the amazing part of this week. We're only going to talk about 2 more guys, but the number 9 and number 10 wide receivers both had 21 and 22 fantasy points. A 20 fantasy point finish for a wide receiver usually has them finish on like in the top 5 on a week.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
That's pretty insane. And then even like the Pringle had 19.
The Pringle.
Ridley and Sutton had good
Is that what we're
weeks.
just going to call him, the Pringle?
That's what I'm calling him.
Let's go.
The Pringle can.
Let's go, the Pringle
can. If he stinks, he's just an empty Pringle can. He's good. He's an unopened Pringle can.
Let's talk about some busts. Stefan Diggs, once again, 5 points.
Yeah, at what point is it a bust for Diggs?
Yeah.
Or is it just like that's
point,
what he is?
He's been getting better, slightly. It's not him, it's the passing.
No, I mean, they're not giving him the ball. So.
There wasn't any, like, full-out busts. Emmanuel Sanders had 1 point.
That's... Brandon Cooks had 6. He's been so up and down.
I think that's just him.
Julio had 5 points this week.
Julio trashed the can?
He did.
Oh, wow. I can't even see that.
And,
Are you sure?
Yeah. Hey, remember how we were saying the other week?
I don't even see his name.
Yeah, he had 5.7. He's T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, there it is.
T.Y. Hilton, there's another guy.
T.Y. Hilton, Julio Jones, 5.7, 5.7.
We had this argument like 2 weeks ago with the Corey Davis, A.J. Brown. Which one would be better rest of the season? They both had 3 points. Corey Brown had 3.8 versus A.J. Brown's 3.7.
I'm glad we don't take any bets. Keenan Allen, 3.8 as well. Yeah, that's gross. I do want to talk about Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen right now, even after that trash performance, is still pacing out at 1,600 yards, like 19 touchdowns and 170 targets.
See, it's such a great start.
Yeah, I am kind of so I've been hesitant. A lot of fantasy experts, if you go on Fantasy Pros and you look at the rest of season rankings, a lot of fantasy experts have right now Keenan Allen finishing in the top 3. And I was really hesitant to even put him anywhere near there because I know what Keenan Allen is, especially when Melvin Gordon's in that offense.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't think he's bad. I think he's good.
I think he'll be top 7.
Yeah, I think he'll be top 7 for sure. But the concerns for me is target share. And yes, he got targeted a lot in the first 3 games of the season, but is the target share going to continue as the season goes along? Yes, you lost Tyrell Williams. Yes, Hunter Henry is not there anymore. And yes, Mike Williams.
Hunter Henry could come back, actually.
Oh, boy.
He might play next week.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
He started practicing.
That's ridiculous. Keenan Allen... I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get the target share that we want him to get towards the end of the season. I think he's going to be Keenan Allen like normal Keenan Allen, the top 10 receiver you had last year. But to expect him to do what he did over the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, rest of season, is just like there's got to be some form of regression there. You know what I mean? I think that's all we have for busts.
Yeah, for the wide receiver position at least.
All right, let's just talk about quarterbacks really quickly.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson, 41 points, bounces back from a 16-point game. This is kind of what Deshaun Watson's going to be rest of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Big game, little game, big game, little game, big game, little game.
That's it's funny because I said that last week that going by the trends he should have a big week, and he did. Although this week he's playing Kansas City, do you think he can?
Oh yeah, I think he should
have
be
a good week.
That's a good play.
He's not. He is matchup dependent.
100%.
But what quarterback isn't other than Mahomes, right? So
yeah, that's true.
But Watson, like at the end of the year, we were talking about is Watson even going to finish in the top 3?
Right.
I think it's still Mahomes Watson right now, 1, 2, and then Lamar Jackson's probably 3.
I don't agree
for quarterbacks.
I
Do you have Lamar Jackson ahead of him?
Yeah.
He had 12 points this week.
I know, but Deshaun Watson had 11 points last week.
Well, I know, but over the course of the season, it's
points made.
It's gonna. I think those will probably be the top 3. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that. I don't hate on Deshaun Watson, but just the inconsistency there, I'm not sure. There are other guys who have been far more consistent that will probably I think there's a chance Russell Wilson finishes.
Oh, that's a good one actually.
In the top 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, Matt Ryan, 32 fantasy points. Matt Ryan's been a little bit weird. I talked about that roller coaster.
Yeah.
Over the course of his career, where he has one good season, one bad season. Well, I don't know what he's doing this year, but he's going true to the roller coaster.
He's been mostly good.
He's been mostly good.
He's similar to Deshaun Watson, where he's got to play against.
It's the Dirk Cutter offense. I think that is really.
Oh, that's true. He's throwing the ball.
Yeah.
You want to hear his pass attempts per game?
Yeah.
Real quick: 46 in week 1, 43, 34, 53, 46. So he's thrown over 40 passes every game.
I'm gonna see this paced out for the whole season. I gotta see this now.
So he's thrown the ball a ton.
I didn't even look at this yet. I'm excited to see this.
And he's thrown over 300 yards in every game because
he's on pace to throw 710 passes.
That's ridiculous. See, that alone makes Matt Ryan even though the Falcons are not that good this year, they're 1-4. Matt Ryan honestly has been. He's been okay. He hasn't been bad. He's been solid. But because of how much they throw the ball, he's pretty much a start every week. Unless they're playing like Chicago.
Right. Russell Wilson had 29. We just talked about him a second ago. Bridgewater, 28. Dak Prescott ended with 26 after. My God, he would have been number 2. He would have been number 2 this week. He would have been number 2 this week if he didn't throw 3 picks.
Yeah.
I can't believe
that trash time.
Yeah.
Trash time love.
The trash time touchdown love.
Yeah.
He was in position to score a lot in that game, but anyway.
Kyler Murray finally had a really very solid week.
He's been having a couple of solid weeks.
He's been consistently okay.
Average.
Yeah. But
consistently
this week 25 points, so I mean
I got him as my second quarterback in a super flex, so I'll stick with it. Tom Brady is defying the odds still. I was so mad. I watched the entire Pats game and I thought he had a terrible fantasy week. So I was like, I don't know, let's contact the Tom Brady owner and see if I can sell a quarterback to him. And then I looked and I'm like, freaking A.
26 points.
Come on, Brady.
They threw the ball he threw the ball 42 times, so that's why.
Yeah. We talked about Minshew before, 21 fantasy points. Cousins finally came back and had 20. And Andy Dalton, this is a weird week where wide receivers went off and quarterbacks didn't. 19.
That is so weird. Actually.
Wide receiver, a quarterback won this week in top 12 had 18 fantasy points. So there's that. Mahomes was a top 12 quarterback with 18.5. I wanted to touch on Mahomes.
And that's a bust for Mahomes.
It is a bust for Mahomes. So I want to talk about Mahomes for a second because he is now come down to earth finally. And he is on pace for 35 touchdowns. So he's normalized.
Okay, so that is normal.
So the 15 touchdown regression is here that I predicted.
Oh, it's finally
here
coming.
We go, baby.
It only took a Tyreek Hill injury.
It only took a Tyreek Hill injury. So I'm not saying Mahomes is going to consistently get 18 points a game every week, but just keep an eye out for the touchdown regression.
I think he'll probably get 30 this week.
30 touchdowns?
30 fantasy points against Houston. That game's going to be a shootout. I could be wrong because I said that against the Colts and Chiefs, but Houston, Kansas City, holy cow.
Some guys we ripped your soul out on our stardom. Jacoby Brissett with 11 points.
That was on us.
Don't not listen to us because of that,
you know what?
though.
We've been pretty good with the stardom sit-ems all year.
Yeah, except for last week.
That was Jacoby Brissett was not a good call.
And everyone had a good week except for
that
quarterbacks.
Was not a good call.
Jacoby Brissett, 11 points.
Aaron
Rodgers with 9. Finally coming down to earth. I told you guys to sit Rodgers. I believe was right.
I think I agreed with you. I didn't say
yes.
But Rodgers, I've been saying this all year. Just like every quarterback, it's really just
it felt like he
plays.
Had a better week than that.
It's because Aaron Jones had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like in game wise, he had a pretty good game.
I was like convinced in my head he had a good game, but he just didn't.
Again, I'm still not like
Yeah.
If you listen to us, Rodgers was not a good start. Cowboys a tough matchup. This week, home against the Lions, I'd start him.
Yeah.
It really just depends.
Yeah, it's
21st against the
Lions.
So
they stopped Mahomes though.
Yeah, I mean he still threw like 300 plus yards.
Wait, he does that every game.
That's true.
Doesn't really matter.
Phillip Rivers had 6 fantasy points.
I'm not worried about Phillip Rivers because I don't want him anywhere near.
Most teams, believe it or not, have. You know what? Phillip Rivers on NFL.com, his start percentage is 50%. So.
Oh Lord, people need to stop with that. The obsession with Phillip Rivers drives me insane.
I know.
Carson Wentz had 12 fantasy points too.
Yeah, that was a bust. Who did he play? It wasn't a good team. It was the Jets. Wentz is so weird because people were talking about him being a like low end MVP candidate going into this week.
Yep.
And the team won, obviously, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
I think it was just more they were killing the Jets by so much Wentz didn't have to do anything.
Right.
So
let's move on to the running backs. I don't even have this set at half PPR because I'm an idiot.
Job.
Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey led the field with 44
That's crazy.
and 45
we had
points
2 guys
respectively.
Had 44 plus.
Yeah, if you had Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey on your team you still lost, I'm sorry. What do you have to do?
Yeah, you start McCaffrey and Jones, but the rest of your team was like Phillip Rivers.
You had like the other team had
Greg
Will
Olsen.
Fuller. And
Deshaun Watson.
Aaron Jones went bonkers. This is what Aaron Jones can be if you give him a full workload, but I don't know if he's going to get one. You obviously start him, but
for sure.
I'm watching next week if Jamal Williams is in there. Do they split the workload with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams again? Mm-hmm. Or do they give it to Aaron Jones a little more than usual, saying this guy's pretty good? The other thing that scares me about Aaron Jones is that this past week he was efficient. But all season, he's been extremely inefficient running the football.
It's true.
And he's only average. I think he was at like 3.5 or something yards per carry, and so that's concerning. But I think after this week, this could be a not a breakout game, but a game that kind of sets him on the right pace and track to do good things this year. I believe he can be an RB1, but we have to see more consistency from Aaron Jones this year.
He's going to need the carries. I don't know if he's going to.
He's going to get them.
Yeah, or the touches, I should say. But when Jamal... Is it... Do we know if Jamal Williams is coming back this week?
Oh, no idea.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye.
Because if he doesn't, he's playing the Lions at home. I would think he's a must start.
Right.
But if he does come back, that is going to be interesting to watch.
Christian McCaffrey had 44 fantasy points.
I wish I don't
even think we need to talk about it. So
it's funny. If I had the number one draft in our league, you know who I would have taken?
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's right.
He's justifying his terrible pick.
Is it terrible right now, bro? You tell me.
That's where the true love would have shown.
Yeah.
Your man's Saquon Barkley or your man's Christian McCaffrey?
I still would have took McCaffrey just because I was scared about Barkley this year.
You're an idiot. Josh Jacobs. This was a surprising game. Now, this was my plan going into this week. I was going to try to trade for
Josh
Jacobs. And the plan was the owner of Josh Jacobs loves Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh.
And I thought maybe, Josh Jacobs would have a poop game against the Chicago Bears and then go into a bye week. So 2 crap games in a row, go into a bye week, right? And I was like, I just offered Juju and maybe another player, and I nailed myself some Josh Jacobs rest of season with his soft butt schedule. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then he has freaking 27 points against the Chicago Bears in London. And there goes that plan.
Yeah.
That owner's probably going to hold on to him like he's the second coming of Saquon Barkley. So there is, I don't know. I mean, for Josh Jacobs, he has these games where he shows he's like wicked good, and then he just has these games where he looks awful, and he just doesn't look like the guy that we thought he was going to be. It's the strangest thing. And it's against good matchups. He's
Sony Michel this year.
He legitimately is Sony Michel, and it's like I think he's going to be a mid to high end RB2. And I think that's probably where he'll end because he'll have these bust games. It's just it's weird to see it happen. Like he plays an easy matchup and he craps the bed, and then he plays a hard matchup and he plays well, and it's just confusing.
It is
bizarre. But Jacobs is going forward, he's a must start.
Oh, of course, yeah, agreed. Coming
into this week, I almost told people to bench him.
Yeah, I mean, and that wouldn't have been crazy because he was playing the Chicago Bears.
And everyone would have came back at us and been like, "What did you tell me to bench Josh Jacobs with balls?"
Good thing you didn't say that.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook had 22 fantasy points. Did you know he didn't score a touchdown?
That's crazy. Is it time for us to hop on the Philip Lindsay train?
No.
Okay. Because he had another big week this week. 22 fantasy points.
He's so inconsistent, I can't do it.
Okay.
Fournette is exactly what he is who we thought he was. I love Leonard Fournette.
I like Leonard Fournette a lot too.
He's getting a lot. He's getting the big thing for him is opportunity shows through, and now Minshew's playing better, so they're not stacking the box anymore, which is opening opportunity.
That was the big
Fournette.
key for Fournette was Gardner Minshew.
And if he starts scoring touchdowns on a regular basis, he's the Christian McCaffrey of this year.
Yeah,
like he legitimately of last season, he legitimately can be. So it is like a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Continue.
I was just going to go on to the next guy, so if you wanted to say anything.
Sony
had
19.
Sony finally decided to show up this year, huh?
Against Washington. He's like, you know what? I'm going to show up to the Washington game, give my fantasy owner some love, and then completely disappear next week.
Yep. His schedule's been so easy this year.
I mean, he's got the Giants.
I know. Is he start? You know why?
On Thursday Night Football?
You know what?
They're going to run the ball.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Rex Burkhead was injured this week.
Oh, good.
I think I don't think he's going to play this week either.
Who, Burkhead?
Yeah, if Burkhead doesn't play this week, Sony Michel's to start.
Yeah. Carson had 18. Gurley had 17. Gurley is slowly inching his way back to Gurliness, but it's probably never going to happen.
He's working his way.
Working his way back. Not that he had to work his way back, but the team is trying to work him back into like game shape. I really do think the veteran... the veteran plan in training camp led to Gurley's slow start. I really do believe that.
I mean, it might.
He wasn't even that good in the game. He just scored 2 touchdowns.
Yikes.
David Johnson he's been terrible. I gotta say that. He's been bad.
What are you talking about, bro?
He all he can do is freaking catch the ball.
And
it's working. Yeah, awesome.
PPR.
Have fun
that's all
with that.
You need.
Have fun with that. David Johnson owners can have fun with that. You know what? He's getting like 3.1 yards per carry or something ridiculous like that.
I know. It hasn't
been
good.
He's putrid on the ground. He's bad.
Well, he was okay this week.
No, what do you mean rushing? Yeah, he was better.
5.4 yards.
He was better this week. But it's just fun. A lot of people are like, David Johnson owners are very much, people who love David Johnson are very much like, oh, David Johnson, the reason why he can't run the football is because of that offensive line. And then I pull out the 3 metrics that matter most that running backs can control. The broken tackle rate, the juke rate, and yards after contact. And he's like bottom in the league in every single one of those. Yeah. He's just not good on the ground. It's just getting to that point.
It's not that he's not good on the ground. He's just not.
He has like good games and then he has bad games.
He's not great.
Maybe I'm getting too heated. He's just
You're getting too heated because you don't own David Johnson.
The pass catching from David Johnson
in a half PPR league. If I own David Johnson, I don't care, dude.
Oh no, you don't care at all. He's
getting
about 15 to 17 points a game,
which is what he's doing.
That's fine. It's fine. I'm not even worried about him. I'm just saying, as far as like real life NFL stuff, having a running back that runs 3.2 yards a carry is just gross.
I don't disagree with that.
Let's move on to some bust guys.
Dude, Damian Williams 5 points and LaShawn McCoy had 1.
Well, LaShawn McCoy's not really a bust.
Yeah,
so there's that.
That's true. But you're not starting any Chiefs running backs like at all, ever.
No, probably not. I would say, there wasn't. If there was a bust at running back, there wasn't a lot of them.
There wasn't. There really wasn't. I guess Wayne Gallman was probably a bust considering the week he had the previous week to come out and get 1 fantasy point.
Yeah, but we expected that.
I put him on my sit list.
We were like, don't do that. And you did it anyway. And now you're like, why did I do that? I should have just listened to the fantasy champions.
Everybody started him, but for people who understood the situation, knew that he wasn't gonna.
He wasn't gonna get the work.
Yeah.
Would you say Ronald Jones?
A little bit, considering what the expectations were.
Yeah.
After the previous week, like I know you were really high on him.
Not really high. The opportunity was starting to shift.
Yeah, but just like I told you, it would shift right back.
See, it didn't shift in Bruce Arians.
Peyton Barber's
favor.
No, you're right. He did get.
It was just a bad. It was a tough game on the ground.
They kind of split carries, though, didn't they? How many carries did Ronald Jones get?
Ronald Jones had like around 12 touches. They both had like somewhere around that. That situation.
Because Peyton Barber.
It's gonna take. This is gonna be a long play. It's not gonna be like this week, next week.
No, I know. Which is kind of what I was saying. Which is like.
Plus, it's like 2 matchups in a row that are difficult. So I didn't expect too much from Ronald Jones this week anyway. But outside of that, there wasn't like Joe Mixon had 11, which is not great.
Yeah.
James,
you
Conner,
know who
Joe
I
Mixon.
actually would consider bust?
Who?
David Montgomery.
Monty. Should you even consider him a bust?
No, I know you shouldn't. But like considering he was playing the Raiders, the expectation was this could be his breakout week.
When do we realize either A, that David Montgomery is not good? Or
your boy.
That this team absolutely blows at play calling.
I think it's both. A little bit of both.
I don't think David Montgomery is that bad. I just don't think he's being not even like utilized properly, but he's getting all this opportunity to run the football. In some games he gets like 5 yards a carry, which is great, and then he has like 3 yards. I really do think it's situation. Like, look at Jordan Howard. He's running well with the Eagles. He's not running bad. Maybe it's just Matt Nagy's system. He completely destroys running backs.
Maybe.
Like, that's what I'm kind of getting to at this point. No one drafted to the Bears we should be excited about anymore. Like, honest to God, their offense is putrid. It's awful. You lost to the Raiders.
Which is so weird. Matt Nagy's supposed to be the offensive, like...
guru, this mastermind. And he destroys running games, and his quarterback blows out the wazoo. That's enough. I can't stand him. Is there any more running backs on the bus list that you want to talk about?
I don't really think there is. Honestly, I'm looking through them. Most of the good running backs this week had decent weeks.
Yeah, they did good. Let's talk about tight ends really quickly. Gerald Everett, we talked about on the last pod. 17 fantasy points this week.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we don't even.
You got to hop on the train.
Yeah, choo. Zach Ertz got you 14. This was a bad week for tight ends. It's starting to happen.
Yep.
This is starting to happen. A good week for you, if you had a tight end, was probably 8 points. I had Waller, and I was happy with 5.
The hoop, there it is, 10 points, and he's the number 1 ranked tight end in fantasy football right now.
Travis Kelce completely pooped his pants.
Yeah, he was not great.
Mark Andrews had 7.
Will
Travis
Disley
Kelce
is a legit start week to week at this point.
Disley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't even want to. Who is Tyler Conklin? Who the hell is Tyler Conklin?
I don't know. He's the third string Patriots tight end. He caught a touchdown. I thought that wasn't that Ryan Izzo that caught the touchdown?
Yeah, not Tyler Conklin.
I think
Fantasy Pros is jipping out right now. All right.
Fantasy Pros is.
Yeah, never mind. Hooper's been really good. It's starting to whittle out the crowd of tight ends at this point.
Do you want to talk about busts for tight ends?
Yeah.
Trey Burton is not going to be good this year. It's just a fact. He had 3 points this week. He doesn't have a quarterback.
Wait.
It's unfortunate.
The Chicago Bears offense blows?
If you still own O.J. Howard, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's still owned in like
You're an
a lot of leagues.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number in front of me, but
I just offended all of our owners by calling them idiots for having O.J. Howard.
That's rude, bro. You know how many fantasy points he had this week?
I apologize to whoever I said to start Dawson Knox this week, by the way.
Yeah, that was
a wise decision. Sorry.
O.J. Howard.
That's crazy.
Do you know how many points he had this week? I think you already saw it. But
enlighten me.
He had one catch. One catch.
Yeah.
For 10 yards.
Gross.
So that's in half PPR, 1.5 points.
Yuck.
He's still owned in 82% of leagues on NFL.com. 82% of leagues on NFL.com.
What are you doing, guys?
He's had 3, 0, 8, 4, and 1.
Wow.
He's not worth being on your team.
That's ridiculous. I think that's it for Booms and Busts for this week. Let's move into trade targets really quickly. We don't have a lot of time. We got to get to some matchup breakdowns for the week. I would say my number one buy this week is DeAndre Hopkins. He's had a difficult start to the season. I want to look at it really quickly just to see where he's ranked overall at the wide receiver position in half PPR. Right now, he is number 18, so he's slowly moving up. Slowly moving up. But the DeAndre Hopkins owner is probably extremely concerned about his production and how many targets he's getting. And this is probably the lowest you're going to be able to buy him. This is probably the last week. I'll say the last week that he'll probably be on the trade targets list because of how talented he is and how good he is. And they're going up against Kansas freaking City. If you don't go off against Kansas City, you're...
Yeah. You got to go off against Kansas City.
You got to go off against Kansas City. Sorry, but
a game that's probably going to be a shootout.
And a game that's probably going to be a shootout.
No, I agree. I think Hopkins is a very good buy this week.
Right.
Everybody's going to see what Will Fuller did, and they're going to be like, "Well, he's the new number one receiver. It's clearly Watson's favorite target."
Right.
Hopkins is still the guy. I think this would be a perfect time to buy because the owner, the Hopkins fan, is, as you said, probably a little concerned.
They're shaking in their boots.
This would be the time to buy Hopkins if there is one.
Yeah, I agree. I did this one as Miles Sanders / David Montgomery. Montgomery. I'll just quickly say the reasoning for either one of them. I think there's going to be a rookie. There's going to be a second rookie that is going to do something this year, and I'm trying to figure out who it is. But
who just emerges.
Who just emerges in the second half of the season. But Miles Sanders right now has been decent, efficient, and looked pretty good. The situation is that Jordan Howard had a ridiculous game 2 weeks ago, and this past week he didn't. I can't remember what he did.
He had a touchdown, I think.
Yeah, he didn't do too shabby. So I think for me, Miles Sanders is a guy that you can buy right now for there was a report this week that said, or I think it was Monday, there was a report that said Miles Sanders, they're going to give the ball to Jordan Howard more. So if there is a lower point that you can buy Miles Sanders, it's not going to happen. If you got to do it right now. So buy Miles Sanders. I'll say buy David Montgomery too. He had another 10-point game. He's looked bad, but he's getting the opportunity. I feel like at some point the guy's going to turn it on at something.
That's the reason for, I own David Montgomery. It's the only reason why I'm hanging on to him is because he is getting the opportunity. It's just, it feels like it's just a matter of time before he breaks out, but then he every single week gets
10 points.
Yeah. At least his floor isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not all
on a week-to-week basis.
It's just he can't. He's literally Frank Warren. So
right,
gross.
Which is unfortunate. Then, can I throw somebody in here that you didn't put in?
Yeah, sure.
Le'Veon Bell.
No, the Le'Veon Bell owner ain't selling, boss.
Is he? He's probably not. But if there is a time to get Le'Veon Bell, it's right now. Sam Darnold has not been on the field yet this season.
Right.
Le'Veon Bell has kind of struggled because of that. They've stacked the box. They've forced him to throw the ball, and they haven't been. They've still been given to Bell, or if they did throw the ball, it's been terrible. I think Eagles defense, for example, had 36 fantasy points this week against the Jets. So the Jets offense has been absolutely brutal. Bell has been getting I think about 10 points a week. I'm going to pull up his numbers really quick.
Yeah.
He had 12 this week. He's had 12, 8, 15. Well, the 3 weeks that Darnold hasn't played, which is still okay. But in week 1, when Darnold played against the Bills, which wasn't an easy matchup, he had 20 fantasy points. He plays the Cowboys and the Patriots these next 2 weeks, which is not great matchups. Obviously, the Patriots is a great defense. After that, though, he plays Jacksonville, which ranks 26th against the run, Miami, the Giants, the Redskins, the Raiders, the Bengals, Miami again. He plays the Dolphins twice, the Ravens and Steelers, and if you do week 17, the Bills. That's probably the best remaining schedule for running backs after week 8 or after week 7.
Philly has the easiest one, but
is it Philly?
Yeah.
But it's up there. It's right there with Philly.
My problem with Le'Veon Bell is that he's just inefficient. He gets a lot of opportunity, and that's the one reason why he's a top 7 running back and why he should.
See, it doesn't matter to me if he's inefficient, if he's getting 20 carries.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Let me finish my point.
Sorry, dude.
But yeah, he's inefficient as crap. But if he gets 25 carries, 25 touches a game, he's gonna produce enough fantasy points to get you good performances. But he's not the Le'Veon Bell that he was when he was with the Steelers. And that is what a lot of people need to realize, is that you're not going to get that. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, Le'Veon Bell is not a top 5 running back anymore. And that is like you can hope and expect that to happen or have.
I think he will be starting in week 8.
I don't think so.
I think the next 2 weeks he's not going to be great. And then once he gets that easy schedule and Sam Darnold comes back, I think he's going to be top 5.
Okay, we'll just move on. That was 3 buys and sells.
Right.
Let's move into our weekly matchup breakdown, and go over some matchups for the week. Sound
Let's do it, boss.
Sound freaking good. Let's start off with game number 1, Giants at Patriots. There is 4 bye weeks this week. I don't know who they are. Giants at Patriots, 44-point over/under. I feel like this is a game that is going to be run freaking heavy.
Another great Thursday night matchup.
The Giants have Daniel Jones. The Patriots have Tom Brady. Tom, terrific. Is he a start this week?
He has to be, I think. He's had 4. I know. Before the 5 games this year, he's been a start.
Come on, Tommy. Yeah, he's probably a start this week.
At home?
But he's just becoming a guy where I feel like they're going to run it a lot. I don't know what it is.
No, I agree. I think they will run it a lot.
But if that happens, Tom Brady's going to be like a bust, and it looks like
it is scary.
It's like it's like the Miami game where it looks like a really good game, but then it turns out to not be that great of a game.
He's still got a trash time touchdown though.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate to say Tom Brady as a start because I feel like he's going to get 15 points now, but because he's such a quarterback.
Okay, we'll say start him as like you have to kind of start him against the good matchup, but be.
Oh, long term.
Like, don't start him and go, holy crap, he's going to have a big week. I expect 30 out of him. Like,
start him with caution.
Okay, well, I think he might get 20, but if he doesn't, I'm not surprised. So just be lenient on Tom Brady. I gotta sit Daniel Jones this week. If you thought about,
gosh.
Yeah, I don't even think he was even after his one.
The way the Patriots defense has played and the week Daniel Jones just had. It's retro raggy.
Yeah. Sony Michel, I have a must. He's a must start this week.
I agree. I think he's a start.
James White, low end flex option possibly.
Yes.
All right. Hillman on the other side. If Coleman plays, all right. If Saquon plays, he's in. Go do it. I don't even care what it looks like. I don't care if he gets.
I'm not starting any Giants this week, bro.
if Saquon is in the game, start him.
Oh well, you have to start. Barkley,
if Gallman plays, I would not start him. And then obviously, if Hillman, I don't even know how to say his name. That guy, Jonathan Hillman or whatever, he's definitely. If he's starting as the starting running back, I'm not even going near the running backs. Wide receiver Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon is a guy that's only going to get you like 7-8 targets. He's not going to be he's a good flex option for this week, but outside of that, I would not like if you don't start him at wide receiver 1 or 2, it's not worth it.
Right.
Julian Edelman is a must start. He has to be in your starting lineup.
He's been very, very solid this season.
And then Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate.
No, I'm not starting either. just against New England, I'm not.
Evan Engram going to get targeted a lot.
Ingram will. But even Ingram, I'm like nervous about this week.
I think you just got to start him.
You have to because he's only Ingram. But
it's a 44-point over/under, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of points scored.
The Patriots ranked. The Patriots rank number 1 against tight ends, so they're the absolute worst matchup for people playing against tight ends.
Right.
I want to check receivers real quick. I think they're number 1 in that too.
Right.
They're number 2 against receivers.
Flip.
And against running backs, they rank number 2. I'm not starting any Giants.
Yeah.
Unless it's Barkley.
Let's move on to
maybe Ingram.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next game. Panthers at Buccaneers, 48.5-point over/under. So this looks poised to be a game with some scoring in it.
Yes.
Possibly.
Although the Panthers do have it's weird because I say they have a very good defense, which they do, but Gardner Minshew put up 27 against them this past week. So
they've been not a very good pass defense. Kyle Allen, Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston it's a tough play against Carolina.
He had like 15 points last time?
He had 19, 18.
They played Carolina?
Oh, last time they played Carolina? I don't even remember.
I think it was like 15.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Allen is he a good streaming option against Tampa? Is that a guy that you should stream?
Probably not. But I mean,
Yeah,
if you have, no, I would say no.
It's gonna be that one guy on Instagram, Kyle Allen or Marcus Mariota.
Probably Kyle Allen.
Yeah,
actually.
For me, I'm it's tough for me on Winston. He's been good with the time that he's had. He had an off week last week. So this is not an awful matchup for him, but it also makes me slightly nervous. This is another start and hold your breath kind of guy.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones against the Carolina Panthers D, and then Christian McCaffrey obviously must start. We'll skip over him. But Ronald Jones against Carolina, that's another tough matchup for him and Peyton Barber. I'm not sure that I would start him as a flex this week just because of the tough matchup.
Exactly, yeah. I wouldn't either.
Yeah. Wide receivers, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore on the Carolina side, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin on the Tampa side. Like, I literally think about this in the context of Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore are guys you shouldn't start, and then Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are guys you should.
Yeah. Which is
about it. Yeah. I mean, it's not even a bad matchup for Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. Like, if you need a guy,
yeah, I mean,
a low and flex option could be, what you're looking at from them, but they've just been so inconsistent, and without Cam Newton, it's just not.
I think they are going to have pretty good. One of them is going
to have a good week.
This week.
And then OJ Howard should be on the waiver wire, and Greg Olsen against Tampa. Are you liking that or not?
Well, I do like it, but I mean, last week I also liked him, and he had 0 points. So.
Let's move on to the next one. Redskins at Dolphins, the snooze fest of the week.
One of these teams has to win. We'll flip a coin and decide the winner, so we don't have to watch the game.
What the real question is going to be: is there any fantasy relevant players
is there?
for this game?
Is Terry McLaurin?
McLaurin is about it. I would say.
Do you even start Terry McLaurin?
Colt McCoy I would.
Exactly.
Well, it's not that he's going to suck. It's that we don't know who's playing quarterback.
If Haskins plays.
Or Case Keenum plays, I think Terry McLaurin has a good week. If it's Colt McCoy again, frick me. I would say he's the only guy, though. I mean, you're not going to start Rosen, right?
Dude, what? He's my QB1.
Yeah, you're not going to start Rosen.
No,
you're not going to start Kenyon Drake. You're not going to start Preston Williams. Or Devontae, what is his name? Devontae Parker. And then you're not going to start anyone on the other side.
No.
Except for Terry
You start
McLaurin.
Adrian Peterson?
What about Peterson as a low and flex option?
You know what? I might start Peterson, and I might start Chris Thompson.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't disagree with that. See, we started off thinking that we wouldn't start anyone, and then we just got there.
We talked ourselves into it.
But if you own any Dolphins, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I can't even find him on our sheet. Did we even put him in there?
I don't think so.
Eagles at... Oh, by the way, the over-under is higher than the Bills-Titans game last week.
Which was under still.
Yeah. Oh,
because it was 10. The score, final score, I think, was 13 to 10. Yeah, I think.
41-point over-under for the Redskins and the Dolphins.
I might bet the under.
Eagles at Vikings. This is actually a relatively decent game on the... Kirk Cousins is on the Vikings side. And the interesting thing about Kirk Cousins, he had 20 fantasy points this past week. It looks like they got slapped in the face a little bit on the not passing it enough front.
Yeah.
So do you think against the Eagles' porous pass defense that they'll start?
I think they might. I mean, this is going to be a very important week for Kirk Cousins, which means it's an important week for Adam Thielen.
Streaming option? Good streaming option this week?
I guess.
I'm just
so hesitant to start Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
but it could be honestly at home against a poor pass defense.
Carson Wentz has got a tough matchup against Minnesota.
He does, and after a poor week last week too, that's unfortunate because I don't think he's gonna.
But Wentz is just Wentz. Sometimes
you still have to probably start him.
Yeah, you got to start him. Dalvin Cook,
obvious.
We'll start on the Vikings side on Dalvin Cook. He's an obvious start, and then. Just literally no one else. Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders. Sanders is he's been consistently getting like 8 to 10 fantasy points a week. So I don't know if he's worth a low end. Like if you desperately need a low end flex option with some upside, then I would go Miles Sanders. But Jordan Howard, if they do give him the ball more against Minnesota, is still a really tough matchup.
Yeah, against Minnesota.
Both of these are just tough matchups. I'm not sure I would start either. I'll backtrack.
I'm not going to start either of this guy.
What about Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar? You don't want to start Jeffrey?
I think there's just better options this week.
Yeah.
Than Jeffrey. And not that he's bad. It's just...
Trust me, there's a lot of... If you desperately need a low on flex, then there you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not
Jeffrey,
totally benching him. But like, if you have better options, then go with those options.
And then Diggs and Thielen against the Eagles' pass defense. This is going to be a tough game for Dalvin Cook. So I would see them trying to move the ball through the air a little bit. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I'm still not starting Diggs.
I don't even know if he'll be a Viking next week, so there's that.
Yeah.
Thielen's a must.
Yeah, he's a stiff.
And then start Zach Ertz.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not even a question. And then the final game, the over-under for the Eagles-Vikings games, by the way, is 43.5, so not a lot of scoring in that one either. But this is the game Sunday at...
Is this the Sunday night game?
Is it the Sunday night game? Hold on a second. Back the truck up. I don't want to be talking about the Sunday freaking night game.
If it is, we might just
end this. We might just end this sucker. No, it's... Yeah, that's the Sunday at 8.
They might have just changed it because it's a very good matchup. So they might have moved they might have flexed it to the Sunday night.
All right, well, we'll talk about it. Texans at... I don't feel good talking about this right now.
You know what? We'll tease it.
We'll tease it. Yeah, Texans
Chiefs
at Chiefs
for the next
episode. Yeah. I guess that'll do it.
I think that's it, bro.
A weird ending.
I think it is a weird ending, but here's what I'll say.
He's like, I'm all right with that.
I think
even know how that happened.
We already talked about the game of the week, though.
I don't think that's a night game.
That's not the game of the week. The game of the week is Dolphins and Redskins.
Oh,
I mean, if you're not watching that game, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, name me something better to do than watch the Redskins and Dolphins.
I would rather... Yeah, that's a 1:00 game on Sunday.
What?
Yeah. That's so stupid.
They might...
All right, let's talk about it.
All right, whatever.
Texans and Chiefs, 55.5 point over-under. Let's go. We just sat there trying to figure out if it was 8 o'clock. I totally fricked up our notes to confuse everybody, so I'll fix it.
Yeah, you said 8 o'clock. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does get flexed, though, to the 8 o'clock game, depending on what the Sunday night game is.
I can't remember what the Sunday night... I just opened that document, too. Anyway, so Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes... We
Obvious
got
start.
Houston, Deshaun Watson.
Obvious start.
Is there any concerns on either side of the ball that these guys are going to struggle? Okay, so no running backs. Would you start any other running backs for Houston?
Nope. I think
he's like, oh, nope.
The over-under for this game is 55.5.
This might be one of the worst running games we've seen all season. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, LaShawn McCoy, Damian Williams. This is just going to be passing
actually,
the entire
is Carlos
time.
Hyde a start?
No.
He's been playing very good lately, actually.
No, I'm not starting.
No? Not even in standard?
No. It's going to be a shootout, so I'm not.
Okay.
Carlos Hyde in a PPR league? No. Let's just move on to wide receivers. I probably wouldn't start any of those guys. Maybe D. Willis. Maybe D. Williams. Maybe.
But yeah, because it's a shootout.
He had 5 points last week, so it's like... DeAndre Hopkins, 97... I mean, reading numbers on the screen again.
Wow.
DeAndre Hopkins is a must-start, obviously.
Is Will Fuller a must-start after the week he just had?
I would say, yeah. Flex option, though.
Yeah, flex up. Yeah, agreed.
There are going to be a lot of people that go, savior of my fantasy team. Let's go, Will Fuller.
He's my new wide receiver one.
Let's get it. And then they're going to start him.
I finally found my Antonio Brown replacement.
Wow. I would start Will Fuller, though, yeah.
I would,
I would definitely.
It's going to be a high-scoring game.
Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, or Mia Cole Hardman.
Don't do this to me, dude.
If they're going to score a lot, somebody's going to do well.
Tyreek Hill, because he's probably going to play this week.
That's interesting. If he does play, are you feeling okay about?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You're going one. I don't know that he plays this week. I don't know if we'll see.
I think he's going to play.
We're releasing this podcast on Wednesday morning, and the first practices are Wednesday, so if you're listening to this podcast, we have no idea.
Yeah.
If Tyreek Hill is practiced today. So just keep an eye on that situation. If he did practice, he's a start. If he didn't practice, he's not, obviously not. And then Travis Kelce.
Start.
Go for it. Yeah, just start him in your lineups. The Sunday night football game is the Steelers at Chargers. No, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, it is the Steelers at Chargers. Oh,
that's probably why it's
gonna
get flexed.
Yeah, jeez. But that'll do it for this episode of the Fantasy Champions. Be sure to listen tomorrow as we break down more apps. As we break down more. I should just end the episode now.
You're just not ready because we're about to break
down more matchups. And discuss our starts and sits for the week. And we can break down that Steelers Chargers Sunday night football game that we're probably gonna melt our eyes watching.
I don't know, dude. I think the real game that should be flexed this Sunday night is Dolphins and Redskins.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Don't forget to check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Talk to you tomorrow, Fantasy Champs.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter at @TheFFChamps.